Hey, beautiful people. So anyway, I'm back. All right. So I'm going to finish this story up for you. It may take a little bit, but I think I can help somebody because I want to help you know that you ain't stupid. You ain't doing no more than the rest of us. Not waiting on God. Well, which that is kind of dumb, but okay. All right. But I didn't wait on him. You see what I'm saying? Um, and we get ourselves in situations and circumstances when we don't wait on him. And it's not his fault. It's our fault. All right. So anyway, my marriage, I got married. I went ahead and got married despite the man treated me like I was nothing. Understand me? The man began to treat me like I was nothing. In fact, as a matter of fact, before we got married, we had went through a patch where he was telling me he didn't know what he wanted to do. And I was pretty much like, don't embarrass me. We done put it out there. You proposed to me in front of everybody. And, a whole lot of stuff, right? So anyway, fast forward now. We got married. And those first 4 days after the marriage, even though he didn't want no parts of me physically, he was nicer to me. He had mellowed out a little bit. And that didn't last long now because he had gone back to what he called work. Now, mind you, he drives taxi and he drives for himself. So that means he can leave out when he chooses and he can come back when he chooses. Well, the man started, coming to bed late or going, it's 2, 3 in the morning when he goes to sleep. 4 o'clock he's up, and 5 o'clock, no later than 6, he's out the door. Leave me there with the kids, and then when he comes home, it's in the evening, unless there was something that he needed to do with the kids or something like that. So that Friday morning, I had created this group about marriage. It was called My Marriage Is Not Perfect. But, it was like to help people work on their marriage. Somebody who's going through something to work on their marriages, right? So I noticed that these females started coming in their comments saying all kind of stuff. Oh, the man, what about when the man don't want you because he in love with somebody else? And they were hiding behind fake profiles and, stuff like that. And a couple of the women he knew. So I asked him about that. When I asked him why would his so-called friend be in a group, laughing up with somebody who's saying all of this kind of stuff. Oh, he went ballistic. It turned into this ugly, ugly, ugly argument. The man blocked me. The man wouldn't take my calls. Now, I'm at home with his kids, mind you. Now, the kids knew me from the few times that I visited, but I had never stayed and kept his kids before. So this man obviously trusted me a lot to treat me any kind of way and leave me home with his kids. But see, I would never harm the kids or him for that fact. But I sat there and I was so miserable. Mind you, I'm going through everything with the weight loss. Feeling embarrassed because I've had my family, his family, people flew from England, U.S. for this wedding. His brother didn't even show up to the wedding. These people some of them knew what was up with him. And they just was like, but okay. So at that point, I called my friend and I'm crying. Guess what? Friend done blocked me. Y'all hear me? It's getting dark outside. I'm in the car. But anyway, my friend had blocked me, baby. He blocked me on WhatsApp. But I just had enough faith in our relationship that I called him straight through. And he goes, what difference does it make? Why you need me to be your friend? You already made up your mind. You're going to be with this man. You don't want nothing to do with me and blah, blah, blah. All right. So I cry. And he starts to talk to me. He unblocked me on WhatsApp. And he told me he had feelings too. And, he was going to go on with his life because he's here in the U.S., and whatever. And this is new territory for him because when we met, he was in Jamaica and he came over to the U.S. on a work assignment, on a work visa. So I'm crying and he was like, okay, when you get back to the U.S., which he had called me and told me that he was moving closer to where I live. And when he first got here, he was like 6 hours away from me. Well, he moved closer to where I live, like an hour and 15 minutes away from where I live. So he said, when you come, won't you come and see me? We can sit down and talk. It don't have to be nothing. We friends or whatever. But I've talked to you every day while I was in Jamaica. Just come when you come home. Because I was due to, fly out in a couple of weeks. So I said, okay. All right. I said, but nothing, just friendship, because I'm going through enough. I love my husband. I want my marriage to work. We're going to go through counseling and wherever. So me and my friend, we started talking a lot. And he got me through my dark days while I was in Jamaica. Because when I'm telling you, when I was in Jamaica, this man tortured me. I found out some things about him. But okay, cool. This man tortured me. It came time for me to come home. I begged him, please don't make me leave. Let me stay here. Let's work on our relationship. Let's work on our marriage. Now, my friend is over in the U.S. And he going to be my friend if he going to be my friend. But I wanted my marriage. The man told me we can go to counseling. We could try that. But no. I don't need to stay there. If I stayed, it was only going to make things worse. Meanwhile, anyway, he was leaving, like I said, 4 o'clock in the morning, not coming back home till dark, and when he got there, it was basically, take a shower, eat, sit, texting on his phone, playing the game on his phone, talking to his friends or whatever. Then he would roll over on one side, go to sleep, and start all over again. He had no dealings with me. So, and I noticed that his children's mama could call. She can call, early in the morning, laid up in her bed with her bonnet and her nightgown on. I didn't think that was appropriate, but everything that I said, he had a problem with. He had a problem if I said something about his friends. He had a problem. I mean, this man had done left me home at one time by myself, The kids weren't there. He wasn't there. Stayed gone for hours. He showed back up again. Oh, I was just on the corner. No, you weren't on the corner. But anyway. So, on the way to the airport, I cried. When I got to the airport, his oldest son cried. Well, the oldest one that's with him cried and held on to me. And he said, oh, she'll be back. But something inside of me knew that was it. I wanted to come back. I wanted him to come here, and I wanted our marriage to work, but something inside of me just said no. So anyway, I get back to the U.S. I passed right by where my friend lived and kept going to my house. But I promised him that I would see him, so I did go a couple of days later. We had lunch together. That was it. But we established a friendship. I established that I wanted my marriage to work. My then husband and I started going to counseling. He was so rude to the counselors. He would sit there staring off into space because we had to do it virtual. He would stare off into space. He wouldn't respond. He would mute the session. He just was disrespectful. So we had a couple of different counselors before we settled on one, but he didn't want it. So, meanwhile, my friend here, we talked on the phone every day, even though he was an hour and 15 minutes away. I didn't make myself see him or anything because I wanted to do it right. Come on, even though I knew God didn't give me this man, the other man, I wanted to do what was right. I wanted my marriage to work. So I just kept trying. Anyway, never forget it, October 6th. I got married August 12th. And on October 6th, I asked this man, what it was I woke up that morning and I went on WhatsApp and I noticed that he had taken down the wedding pictures and he put up a post that says, falling in love unexpectedly is a beautiful thing. Well, it was obviously he wasn't falling in love with me. So when I asked him about it, I confronted him about it. Oh, baby, World War III broke out. When I tell you this man showed out on me so bad.